Hey, I'm JC. I recently wrote an article called Headless WordPress with React. You may have seen it, you may have not. Either way, I wanted to make a video series for this tutorial that I wrote just in case any of you guys would prefer to follow along with a video instead of following along with an article. I know everyone kind of learns differently, and so that's what I wanted to do. This is going to be an exact, follow through or kind of an exact walkthrough of this same tutorial. So if you've already done the tutorial, you're most likely not going to get any other value out of this unless there was something you didn't really understand. Maybe I'll talk through it a little bit more in depth or something, but as far as what the finished product and the steps to get there, it's going to be pretty much identical. So if you've already done the tutorial, you can just turn this off and not worry about it. Anyway, if you would prefer to follow along with a tutorial instead of a video, if you found this video first and you haven't heard of the article, you can go to my Medium profile, medium.com/@jchyatt. That's with 2 T's. And you can follow along there. So lots of ways to do it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what we're going to be building. And first, just to give you a little background, the WordPress REST API started as a project at the Google Summer of Code in 2013. And over the past few years, it has a lot of smart people have rallied around it and have made it now an integrated part of WordPress. So the REST API actually started getting merged into WordPress core in 2015, and then as of December 6th, 2016, it is pretty much fully merged into core now. So in December, millions of APIs just went online, which is pretty cool. So just because site owners were using WordPress and they updated to WordPress 4.7, because they're using WordPress, they inherently got data portability without having to do anything but update their platform, which is pretty cool. A lot of site owners may not realize that that's pretty cool, but either way, it's pretty cool. Basically, in the gist of it, the WordPress REST API is a way to interact with the WordPress database outside of WordPress. So you can actually begin to use WordPress as an application framework, or even just like kind of a data layer, but use it as the backend data source of your application to power multiple front ends. You can power multiple websites with the same WordPress database. You can power also mobile apps. You can power, anything you can think of that can consume an API. So that's why this is really exciting. This is definitely the direction WordPress is headed, and I'm excited about it myself. So first off, if you aren't familiar with WordPress, you may be saying like, well, why WordPress? So you may say, I thought that was a blogging platform. Why is this a conversation? Well, there might be some misconceptions there that you have. WordPress did start off as pretty much a blogging platform, but it has over the years evolved into a full-on content management system. There's really, really big sites out there that are using WordPress, and as of November of 2016, it now powers 27% of the web. And so that's a huge number of sites. Now, there's lots of reasons why it may power 27% of the web. One is it's super easy to install. It's super easy to host. It's just a traditional LAMP stack. It doesn't consume much memory or anything to run a basic WordPress site. And also it's really user friendly. So people can get started with having a digital presence of some sort without having to know how to code, which is actually pretty incredible, and creates lots of possibilities for businesses of all sizes, but especially small businesses just starting off. So pretty cool. So that's why WordPress is important. If you want a really cool example of the WordPress REST API in action and a big name using WordPress, actually go look at the NBA stats site. That API, that whole site and the API is entirely WordPress. So pretty sweet stuff. Also with React, you've probably heard of React by now. It's a few years old, started at Facebook, and Facebook is kind of the, I guess, the owner of the project, but it's a JavaScript library for user interfaces, and it's what we're going to be using for this tutorial. It's very popular. We're going to be using Create React App, which is actually something that the community came together and they built this to make it easier to get started with React, because React itself is pretty easy, but if you aren't using something like Create React App to generate a lot of boilerplate stuff for you and kind of do some magic hand waving for you, you're going to have to also learn ES6 and Webpack and Babel and lots of other stuff that can result in you getting very overwhelmed if you are not ready for it, or if you just don't have the time to kind of do all that at once. So Create React App lets you get started with React itself, and then when you're ready to take it to the next level and learn some other things like Webpack, you can eject, and then it will give you full control over all your configuration and everything, so that you can kind of take your learning to the next level. Just a quick overview of what we're going to be building. Here it is. It's a basic, unstyled, forgive me, but basic app to consume a WordPress API that's got a lot of data about each of the Star Wars movies. So we've got a title, a release year, a rating, and a description, and a featured image for each movie. And this is actually a React application. This is the source right here, and I'll move that over to the side so you can see it. And that's actually the entire app, basically the whole app right there in that file. And it's consuming a WordPress API, which you can see here. I've got we got a movie pulled up right here, episode 7. But I've got all these movies here, and this WordPress installation is feeding all the data to React, and the two are completely decoupled. This React app is not inside WordPress at all. It's not a theme. It's nothing. You can this React app can be taken anywhere. You know, it can be dropped down to another server or something like that without WordPress ever having to go anywhere. So pretty cool stuff. This is what we're going to be building, and I'll see you in the next video.